Last night we saw undefeated Grace, Georgetown, and Freed Hardman all in action last night. And let's celebrate this game where guys like Uzo Dibimaka do things like this.
What's on the floor? Inbounding for the Trojans. Under the basket, where will they go with it? Top of the three-pointer, Dibimaka. Dibimaka with the three from the right wing to knock it down. And the Trojans upset the Tigers in the battle.
And that's NAIA basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now.
Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Welcome to Wednesday, November 15th. A lot of basketball going on now. We're going to talk about several games, but we're also going to have Chris Francis. He's head men's basketball coach at Science and Arts, USAO, the Drovers. We're going to talk some Drover basketball with Chris Francis and right after we go through a couple of games here. But where we're going to start, we've had our first legitimate upset of the season. Number 5, Georgetown traveled to Portsmouth, Ohio, took on Shawnee State, and they fell 83-78. So Georgetown goes to 6-1 now. In that game, Georgetown, with about 15 minutes to go, was up about 15 points. Lead shrunk to 11 with around 5 minutes. Then over the next 2.5 minutes, Shawnee State went on an 11-0 run. They tied the game with 2.5 minutes. And then Shawnee State held on. They won by 5. But the amazing stat, I thought, was Georgetown only scored 2 points in the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Boy, I wonder if they'll talk about that in practice. Big win for Shawnee State. Congratulations to them. You know that Georgetown, Chris Briggs is too good a coach. This is not going to, if anything, this is just a wake-up call. If you're a Georgetown fan, I mean, I would not lose any sleep over this. The days of going undefeated are kind of over. Anybody can beat anybody these days, and it was just a loss. Shawnee State will be back in Georgetown will be back in action on November 18th, taking on Wilberforce. Big reason Shawnee State was able to win tonight. Keith Germain, 30 points, 8 rebounds. Big night. He had a night. And it was picked a good night to have it, and they got the upset over Georgetown, and Georgetown is now 6-1. Grace College also in action, number 2. No upset here. They took on St. Xavier out of the Chicago Conference. Grace wins this game 89-70 to go to 6-0. In this game, Big Elijah Malone, 28 points, 10 rebounds, unstoppable force right there. Jacob Gibbs, 12 points, 3 rebounds. They'll take on Indiana Wesleyan on November 21st. Grace College, number 2, they are 6-0. Freed Hardman, 4-0 now. Well, they're also on a roll. They beat Oakwood out of Alabama, 77-45. I believe Oakwood is the team, that a new athletic team. I think they're going into the Sun Conference next season, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's Oakwood, but 77-45 in this game. J.J. Wheat always shows up on the stat line, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and Geraldo Lane, 16 points, 8 rebounds. So Freed Hardman, number 8, they remain undefeated at 4-0. St. Thomas, they get a big win tonight over New College of Florida, 83-72. They go to 4-1. In this game, Jordan Hernandez, 21 points, 6 rebounds. Milton Matthews, who scored 45 points the other day, they held him to 20 points, 3 rebounds. So that was probably a moral victory in itself. So St. Thomas is rolling. They go to 4-1. The only blemish they have is that Mobile loss. Florida College, this was my game of the night. This was 2 teams really had something to prove. Florida College needed a win bad. They had lost 3 in a row, and Warner really wanted to put a knockout punch on Florida College. But Florida College the Falcons were able to win the game 68-62. Give Florida College a lot of credit. Warner had them on the ropes in the second half, no quit in Florida College, and they went on to win 68-62. They go to 5-3 in this game. Brian Bayonne, 14 points, 2 rebounds, and Trent, and I'm going to mess his name up, Lippold, 12 points, 6 rebounds. Again, Florida College is 5-3. So also tonight, this morning we have Chris Francis. He's head men's basketball coach, science and arts. Talked to him yesterday morning. Why don't we take a listen to Chris Francis? Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. I had got Chris Francis. He's the head men's basketball coach at USAO. I haven't talked to him in a bit, and I thought I'd get a hold of you, Chris, and talk some USAO basketball.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, Billy D. You've done a heck of a job at getting our the NAIA out there and USAO. And so I'm just excited that you reached out. And anytime I can get on a phone call with you, it's always a fun time.
So I appreciate that. So far, you've had a pretty good start. You've won the last 3. You dropped your first game to Oklahoma Wesleyan, but they're a handful this year, and that was a close game, 4-point game. Just in general, I have a couple of specific things, but talk about your team in general.
Yeah, no, I think we really got out the gates with Oklahoma Wesleyan, and we knew it was going to be a dogfight and a challenge. Coach Boswick is a good friend of mine, and kind of grew up in the same area, and so it's always fun to play him. I haven't beat him since I've been a head coach. Just kind of sitting over there, just kind of smiling at me like, "Hey, your time is coming." But he does a heck of a job, man, and it's kind of awesome to see. But we started off with them and ended up losing by 4, and we just really wasn't ready to play a team at that caliber just yet. And I think a lot of turnovers and obviously offensive rebounds, something that they do really good at every year. Really got us, but I was really proud of kind of what we saw out of our guys, and it really kind of turned the page. And we've been off to a solid start so far. We beat Arkansas Baptist, and then went on the road and beat a really, really good Evangel team, and they're really coached well. They're tough, and that was a big win for us. And then we ended up playing Randall at home and handling business there after going on the road to UTEP and getting manhandled by them. I mean, holy smokes. They defend like nothing I've ever seen, and it's they're going to be really good. And so I think they just beat CSU CB, I guess, the other night, and they did the same thing to them they did to us, so I don't feel too bad. So for overall, I'm really excited of what we got here at USAO with our team. We're so deep. Probably the deepest team that I've ever had here in my tenure, and probably the most skilled team that I've had here in my tenure. And we've had some really good teams come in the last 8 and 9 years. So really excited about it.
Yeah, your last win was against Randall. That's an NCCAA team, but that team has a long history of success. Coach Barakoff had a lot of success there. So I think that was a pretty good win for you.
Yeah, no, and they've played some teams in our league, and it was a back and forth game for some of them, and we kind of set the tone after the UTEP game. We kind of had a long meeting in the locker room, and try to take something from the UTEP game, and I think that they responded well. And that's kind of what we was hoping to see against Randall. Is we told them, like, there's no rah-rah speech. It's we got our butt kicked against UTEP, and we expect you guys to come out with your hair on fire. And they did that. And offensively, they just for the last every game so far, our offense has been really efficient. We got to get a little bit better defensively and on the glass, and we've been working at that. With the time that we've been on the road, we've been game after game, I feel like, so we haven't really had any practice time. Yesterday was probably our first practice since we started playing. So there's some adjustments that we try to make on the fly in the game, and it's just kind of hard. But yesterday, we got to work a little bit, and we'll go on the road tomorrow and play Texas Commerce, another Division I, and that'll be a good test for us for sure.
Yeah, that Texas Commerce, that's an exhibition game. I did want to ask you, your assists per game is almost like 24, which is great. Is that, talk about what it is in your system that allows you to get 24 assists.
Oh man, we have a couple good point guards that are true point guards. They're going to look for scores and they're going to get out transition and find our elite scores. And I think that's we have two guys that can really fill it up, and I'm talking about fill it up in a hurry. And I hadn't had a guy like these guys in a long time, if any. We have Reggie Quasada, who is averaging about 18 points a game, and then we have Anthony Ray, who's averaging about 15 points a game, and both of those guys are shooting at a high clip. I think Reggie is like 64, 58 from the three and 80 from the free throw line, and Ant is the same way. And so those two guys can score at all three levels, and our point guards really find them. And not only do they score, but Reggie played at Evangel the other night, and I don't think he had but 6 points, but he had 12 assists. And that's just kind of finding our big. Roy Pamphlet is back, and so that gives us a big presence. So the pick and roll action was really there with those two, and I think this team is really special. They just find what is working, kind of without us, telling them, and they just stick with it until the defense figures it out. But we have I think a deep bench, and every one of them can do something on our team. I mean, sometimes we go 11 deep, and all 11 guys can score it, whether they get to the rim or they knock down shooters. And so I think offensively, we have one of the deepest offensive team, I would say, in the country. But we just have to figure it out defensively. We're long, we're athletic. We just got to be a little bit more physical. And so I think that will come. It's kind of a new team. We brought 9 guys in on top of the 9 returners that we had brought in. And some of the guys that were starting last year are coming off the bench and giving us a spark. And I think we're just still trying to figure everything out as a team. But overall, I think, our point guards, our guards, our forwards, they all can score it. And I think that's really what helps us share the ball, and everybody can see that and they trust in each other. And so I think the chemistry is pretty good. And I think as the year goes on, I think it'll even, get even better. So,
Coach, you were talking about Anthony Ray and Reggie. Is it Quasada?
yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about their shooting. They're 17 for 30. What is in the water in Chickasha? 17 for 30.
They are and they take efficient shots, and that's the thing is we just tell them to spread and transition, and our point guards will find them, and our point guards do a good job at doing that. And a lot of times in transition, if the defense isn't locked in, you can lose. If you lose 2 guys, then you're pretty much in trouble. And so Reggie started off hot against Randall. I think he had, and that's the thing is like against Randall, we had a good game, but Reggie only played pretty much, I think, maybe 14 or 15 minutes. And I think he had 18 points, and he had 12 points in 4 minutes or something crazy. He just had a night against Randall, and he's been doing that. And what's crazy, if you look at the box scores, either it's Reggie starting us off in the first half, or it's Ant starting us off in the first half. And, maybe Ant comes out and scores 18 in the first half and maybe 2 points in the second, but then Reggie scores 18 in the second half. And so, it's kind of a balanced scoring between those two. And then in between those two, we have a guy named Manny Gatkick that's a 6'8", point forward that can shoot it too. We have a guy named Jaden Coswell, who's a shooter and really athletic, went viral for his dunk against UTEP the other night.
Yeah.
So he's about 6'8", and this is, a special team because last year our big guy went down, the 6'10" guy, and after that it was 6'4", 6'5", and so we made sure to go recruit if something like that was to happen. And this has got to be one of our tallest and biggest teams that we've had. So, but no, those two are just special, and they work at it. They stay in the gym constantly, and that's something that we're lucky to get to coach them. Reggie came from a great Division II program at Angelo State. Vinay Patel was actually in our conference at Oklahoma City University before he ended up going Division II to Northwestern, then Angelo. And so Reggie played for Vinay, and Vinay kind of knew how our style was and that it would fit Reggie's style probably a lot better than what they were trying to teach at Angelo. And so So he helped us out get Reggie, and we're lucky to have Reggie. And same thing with Ant. Ant's been a scorer everywhere he's been. Whether it's, I think he was at a Division III before he came here, and I think he averaged like 25 a game there or something. So both of those guys are just special and elite scorers, and we're just lucky to have them.
The Sooner, the SAC there always is a dogfight, but I think this year it's going to be particularly tough. You got obviously Langston. You guys, Sagu had a good win last night. Wayland Baptist right there, and then some teams that haven't got a lot. That are near the bottom because they've lost a couple games are great teams. Like you mentioned, Oklahoma City, Texas Wesleyan. Talk about your conference.
Well, Billy D didn't have to kind of scare me any more than I already am, lose sleep any
Oh,
more than I
you
already
watch
do.
film every day. Don't give me that.
No, I think you're right. It's and people have been saying that the SAC has kind of been, it's the most talented the SAC's been in years, and I agree, and it's so deep, and like you mentioned, some of the teams that got off to a rocky start or still teams that can compete in the top tier of the league, and so it's just going to be a dogfight day in and day out. And I give our league a lot of respect. Is we're going out and playing teams that especially early in our season, are playing teams that are really good, and just throw a different dynamic at our leagues. And sometimes we don't win them, but you got to give us some respect that we're actually going out and playing teams that are really either top in the country or top tier in their conference. And so our SAC's done a good job at doing that, and I think we've every year that's something that we try to do is start off our season with some tough schedule games, just so we can get us prepared for what we see in the SAC. And so it's it's really tough. Like you said, Wayland and Langston, they both got big time transfers, and not only transfers, they're coached, by two of the best coaches in the league, in the country. So, and then you got, Delton at Sagu, who is, they're, you talk about our assists. I think they're the number one team in the country in team assists. I think they're averaging 28 assists as a team. And so they just move the ball, and they can shoot the lights out. And so, and then Texas Wesleyan will get it figured out. They always do. Coach Shinton does a heck of a job down there. And so, I think those teams are, going to be fighting for the top tier spots in the SAC, and hopefully we're up there too, fighting with them. And we'll just have to see how the season plays out.
Well, Coach Francis, you're going to have to tighten those spurs. Those Drovers got to tighten those spurs, because after that exhibition game, you got Arkansas Baptist, Tabor, which is good, pretty good this year, and then you just mentioned Sagu. So November is not going to be a cakewalk.
No, and that's this has been a crazy month for us already, and I think that like you said, we've played Westland, Arkansas Baptist, Evangel, UTEP, Randall, and then we'll go to Commerce tomorrow, and then Arkansas Baptist, and then like you said, a good Tabor team coming in. I hope that throughout all those games that it can kind of prepare us to play Sagu in the first conference game, and then go to UNT Dallas, and then on the road again. And so, but I think with our depth, I think that once I figure it out, once us coaches can figure it out, I think if we don't mess it up, I think this team has a shot at making a deep run, hopefully in March. And so we're just excited. And if we can stay healthy, as every team out there, if they can stay healthy, I think every coach likes their program right now. And,
yeah.
But we got a long ways to go, and the guys know that. And that's the thing, is I think if we can continue to keep them bought in and believe in what we're doing, I really, really have high hopes for this team. And so, but time will tell, though. Hopefully we can see you in Kansas City, and at the end of the year, and hopefully we're talking in person then.
Well, absolutely, and I look forward to seeing you there. I already got my ticket, Coach. My ticket's already punched.
That's awesome. Well, I hope to, like I said, I won't know about our ticket until late March, but hopefully I can give you a ring and we can meet up somewhere in downtown.
Coach, I really appreciate you giving me a couple minutes on just everybody. I just reached out to him, and he was just like, absolutely, let's do this. So thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you. Like I said, it's always a fun time talking to you, Billy. You've always you do your study, you do your research, and we really appreciate. Like I told you earlier, every morning I'm tuned into your podcast or your YouTube and getting my NAIA daily fix and figure out, listening to who beat who, or what player out there was dominant. And so I appreciate what you do, and please continue to do what you do. And if there's ever anything that I can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, I appreciate that very much. That's Chris Francis. He's head men's basketball coach, Science and Arts, the Drovers. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you very much to Coach Chris Wright and to Science and Arts. Always enjoy talking to Coach Chris Wright. I think Science and Arts kind of turned the corner. I think they're going to be pretty good this year, but that Sooner is going to be loaded up with they're just loaded up. We already talked about it with Coach Francis. So tonight, there's a lot of games. I'm kind of torn whether to read them all to you or not. But big games tonight. Oklahoma Wesleyan is going to Bethany. Rio Grande is going to number 11 in Indiana Wesleyan. Number 12 Mid-American Nazarene is at Missouri Valley. York is at number 13 Southwestern. St. Thomas is back in action hosting Virgin Islands. And the GPAC starts tonight. Number 19 Morningside is over at Concordia. They have to go to Seward. La Sierra is at number 20 the Masters. Another GPAC, Mount Marty's at Dort. And Siena Heights is at number 24 Lords. So back in action tonight. Hope you enjoy your day and get out and watch some basketball tonight. And please like and subscribe this show. I know that say that all the time, but it really helps grow the listenership. I don't do this. I don't make any money. I don't put any ads in this. I don't do it for anything. I just do it to grow NAIA basketball. And if you can like and subscribe to the podcast, it really helps. This is Billy D. Thank you. Podcast, please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.